Welcome back to Metals, Money, and Markets, week ending December 1st, 2017. For MiningClips, I'm Rob Goodman, and with me as always to break it all down, Mickey Fulp, the Mercenary Geologist. Well, Mickey, crazy couple of days here in the markets. The tax cuts had things flying, and then some Michael Flynn info today kind of backed things off. But let's hit the metals here, where they ended up a little red all across the board, and precious side anyway.
Well, indeed, it really was a couple of really crazy days for the markets. We hit all-time record highs in every major market except for the NASDAQ yesterday. And so it went from risk on yesterday to overbought today. Gold finished down for the week at 1280 for 0.6 of a loss. It surged both down yesterday and up today as this risk on, risk off took effect. Silver had a really bad week, down 3.5% to close at 1642. Silver still sucks as it usually does. Platinum was off $2 to 939. Meanwhile, palladium had a great week, closed at 1,014 for a 2.5% gain. That's the highest since February 9th of 2001, and it is the only time, except for a 1 month period in 2001, that it's closed above 1,000.
Wow. And finishing up with copper here, a red week here, one of the bigger down weeks for copper in a while.
Well, copper's been trading sideways in a very narrow range from 304 to 316 over the last month. It finished in the midpoint of that at 309, down 2.5%. It still looks strong. Forward curve's flattened a little bit, but it looks to me like it's consolidating in this range. I want to mention the ratios because they all stand out this week, if you will. Gold to silver has reached at least a 2.5-year high at 78. That's pretty high and pretty unusual. Platinum to gold at 0.73 over the last 2 months. Those are all-time record lows since Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1971. And meanwhile, platinum to palladium at 0.93. Again, we haven't seen ratios like that since 2000, 2001.
Yeah, moving over to the energy markets, uranium the big loser this week, but oil took a little breather as well.
Well, uranium, I think, is coming back to reality. It surged when we were in San Francisco to just under $26. That's not sustainable with still oversupply being worked off. So it closed at $23, down almost 5% over the week. Oil had a mixed week. The markets have been very jittery, waiting for this OPEC production decision. Came in yesterday. They will extend through 2018. U.S. rigs up 6 this week. U.S. production is nearing its all-time high set in November of 1970. We're only 300,000 barrels a day from that all-time record, and that looks like that could be broken, if not by year end, the early parts of next year, as U.S. oil shale just keeps booming, and the hedgers are coming in and locking above $50 prices. So probably considerably higher than that right now, with oil at 58.36 on the week.
And as we head over to the currency markets, relatively flat, the U.S. dollar up a little bit here.
Well, the U.S. dollar's been on a month-long downtick, and that actually changed today with all these turmoil in the market. It finished at 92.90, up 0.14 of a point on the week. A lot of that has to do with very strong economic numbers this week. It's quite amazing. GDP growth Q3 at 3.3%. We never saw that during Obama's reign. Low unemployment, record low unemployment numbers, and the PMI, which is the Producers Manufacturing Index, closed at a really robust 58. Anything above 50 means growth in the economy. So Trump's policies will really start taking effect. Euro, of course, moved opposite the dollar. It lost less than a half a point at 119 for a 0.3% loss. Meanwhile, the Looney's just vacillating. It's at 0.7877 for just a tad gain on the week.
And finishing up with the wild ride of these markets, all off their all-time highs, but quite the week. The Dow leading the way.
Yeah, Dow. We've already mentioned this. Dow, S&P 500, Dow Transports, the small caps, all record highs yesterday. Came off a bit today. Dow closed at 24,232, up a whopping 3% for the week. We haven't seen these sorts of week-long gains since Trump became president. S&P 500, 1.5% up at 2642, just off its all-time high. NASDAQ set its all-time high on Tuesday, was off a bit since, closed at 6848, down 0.6% on the week.
And last but not least, the venture off a little bit here this week.
Yes, it is. And I should mention, didn't do that, the VIX popped up to 12 today with all this turmoil. But the venture exchange, we're in the heart of tax loss sales, and that really is the entire week's story. Year to date, high volumes for the week. A couple of the high-flying stocks are crashing, including Novo Resources and Garibaldi Resources, with disappointing assay data, or in Novo's case, the inability to evaluate the grade of this nuggety gold field they've discovered. Anyway, 2 more weeks to the bottom. We expect bottom 2 weeks. I guess it's from today on December 15th, plus or two, minus 2 or 3 days. So start accumulating those good stocks that have been sold off for tax loss selling, and that should bottom, as I said, in 2 weeks.
All right, Mickey, we'll hold you to it. We'll check in with you next week. Appreciate the insight, and see how this White House fiasco goes with Mike Flynn, I guess, huh?
I guess so. We'll find out. You know, the thing is, even if they impeach Trump, we still got a conservative president and in the White House. So